Trump's character, I guess I would say. I think people really don't, a lot of people don't have any idea about the quality and the kind of person that he actually is. And for me, that's really about his heart.
Oh,
I mean,
big time.
obviously, he's a very intelligent person,
Oh, I think his heart
but
is
it's his heart that really is
his
a
heart
big
is so
thing.
big you could see it from space.
Yeah,
I mean, I've been to two rallies, especially the last one in Everett on August 30th.
yeah.
10,000 people in an arena screaming our heads off like it was a rock concert.
Mm,
And I came to I came early. We were in line all day, and there's a social experience of being in line. It's kind of like a tailgate party that goes on all day.
mm,
So there's a lot of lovely people in line, and I came with the intention of engaging with protesters, and I didn't want to have anything violent happen, but I wanted to go argue with them and interview them. So I
yeah.
brought my microphone, and I was going to hook it up to my phone and go out there and wade into the protesters and hopefully have some kind of debate.
Mm,
That's my agenda when I started the day. Now we got led into the rally way before the protesters really arrived. So apparently they arrived after we were already inside.
mm,
I heard a friend of mine texted me, "Ooh, the protesters have there's hundreds of them now outside."
mm,
There's only about a half a dozen when we went in.
mm,
So I had prepared questions and I wanted to go in and kind of play the provocative journalist and wade into them.
mm,
Uh, but after the rally, I was so overcome with joy, and the love that the crowd had for Trump and Trump had for the crowd. The affection was so palpable, and it so affected me.
mm,
It was like I was just left in this state of bliss afterward. I
mm.
was just like so happy to be in America and so happy to see my next president and felt blessed by his presence, and we blessed him and we blessed each other, and it was really a beautiful evening, a beautiful day.
Wow.
And so I said to my friend Adam after the show, after the rally, we lingered in the arena for about a half hour after it cleared out. We were just like savoring the night,
Mm.
hung out on the floor, and just kind of paced around. I was just like, wow, that was so great. And I said, Adam, I want to hug a protester. And I really truly felt it in my heart.
Mm.
It wasn't some kind of weird thing. It was like I want to show love to people who don't expect it.
Yeah.
And so I said, Adam, I want you to film it. I said, take your phone or take my phone. And my phone was dead. So take your phone or your girlfriend's phone and let's go out. So we went out of the arena and there were protesters, hundreds of them across the street, but the cops had them all corralled in a pen
Yeah.
and were keeping us separate.
Yeah.
And so I approached the line of cops. They're all cops standing side to side, kind of keeping it separate. And they wanted, no violence to happen. And so I went up to the cop and I said, I want to hug a protester. And he said, no, it's time to go home. So we went to the car and we ended up having a smaller encounter with a smaller group of protesters on the way to our car. And there's a small group of kids, probably 20-something-year-old kids, going to their car. And there's about 5 or 6 of them, and there's 3 of us. And we met on a street corner a couple blocks away from the arena. Everyone's headed back to their cars. And it was clear that they were protesters. They still had a sign or something about what they were protesting. And so we all ended up on the same corner. And I said, and I was still in my state of bliss, and I said, may I hug one of you?
Yeah.
And this Asian boy steps forward. He says, I will hug you. And we embraced on the street. And then the 6 or 9 or whatever, however many of us, we just said, hey, wow, it's a really beautiful night. I hope you guys had a wonderful night, and how are you? And one of the girls in their group said, this is not what I expect from a Trump rally,
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we just had this lovely exchange, and we were all just in the state of gratitude. We were in the state of gratitude. And they were really sweet kids, and we all kind of surprised each other,
Yeah.
And
Wow.
then we went home, and it was just a lovely, lovely night. And I can't give Trump all the credit for that, but it wasn't. I mean, people think. My mom read to me this letter that Deepak Chopra, of all people, wrote
Yeah.
about the riotous moods at Trump rallies.
Yeah.
There's nothing like that. It was
Yeah.
love. It truly was, and Trump has said it. It's a love fest here.
Yeah.
It truly was love.
Yeah.
There was no bloodthirst. I didn't want to go kick protesters' ass afterward. That would have been the sentiment. Like if we were all rednecks and he was rallying us
If it
into
was
a
like what they say it was, that's
yes,
what, yeah.
but it was exactly the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just moved by genuine affection
Yeah.
and not any kind of animus at all.
Yeah.
So I don't know how typical my experience was, but that's what my experience was.
Yeah.
And It was just magnificent.
Was that a surprise for you? Are you surprised by that?
Well, to be as carried away by it, perhaps, though, I had watched several rallies online, and I'd seen how the crowd just adores him. You know, I mean, there was the one in West Virginia where he put on the coal miner's hat. They presented him with an honorary coal miner's helmet, and you could see how much it meant to them. I mean, he held the helmet in front of him, and you could see the crowd behind him, and they were just yelling, "Put it on!" And he put it on, and the crowd just exploded with appreciation. And then he did this miming of being a digger, because there were signs in the background that says "Trump digs coal," and you could feel the love. I mean, I really could feel it, and I've seen it. You know, watched several pieces of several rallies, and the crowd adores him, and he adores them. I think he has a big heart. I think he is somewhat vulnerable. He has a tender heart, and that's one of the reasons that he hits back so hard, because he's like, it's like when people do mean things to him, it hurts his feelings, right?
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons that people said, "Oh, he has a thin skin, and he's going to get us into war."
Yeah.
But he doesn't go there.
Yeah.
I don't think it's about war. I fear Hillary getting us into war. Hillary wants to talk about how bad the Russians are, and I really fear that she would start World War III. She is warlike, and she, again, should never, ever have been Secretary of State. That's hindsight, of course. But again, her issues are women and children, and health, and healthcare. Health and Human Services was where Hillary belonged.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
She wouldn't have done so much damage in the world.
Yeah. She might have done some good. Yeah.
I mean, it's awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
So, anyway, back to Trump's heart. I think he's a huge-hearted person. I think he loves everybody in this country.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yeah.
He wants to protect our country because he loves us.